Welcome back to the Justice Factor. On Monday, the Democratic Alliance laid charges against the ANC after the organization allegedly barricaded a DA truck in an attempt to stop a public meeting and door-to-door campaigning by the DA in Mangaung in the Free State. This is not the first time this has happened. The EFF has called for the banning of parties which foment violence in particular areas after it was barred from campaigning in KwaZulu-Natal, Tembisa, and other places. Political matters are the order of the day in KwaZulu-Natal. Can we have a free and fair election in South Africa on August 3? Our guest today is Vuma Mashanini, chairperson of the Electoral Commission of South Africa. Mr. Mashanini, welcome to the show. Let me start off by asking you, how concerned are you by the violence that we keep on hearing about in South Africa in the run-up to these elections?
Thank you, Justice, and good evening to you and the listeners. The Electoral Commission is very much concerned about the developments that relate to the breach of the Code of Conduct. And as such, we have been seized with addressing and attending those issues throughout the country.
What do you mean you've been seized? What have you done? Have you banned anyone?
Well, firstly, the most important part was that according to the regulations, we needed first that all the parties sign the Code of Conduct. And there are 2-3 mechanisms that now are underway in each one of those areas. One is that the Electoral Commission has put in place the capability to receive any complaints formally so that they can be processed officially with the Commission. The second is that we have now mobilized and activated the National Prosecution Authority together with the judiciary to ensure that now also the electoral courts are also ready to receive any particular complaints that can be lodged with those 3 structures. And ultimately, we must remember that it is the electoral court that is the final body in determining what particular penalties could then be exercised.
But
what
surely
it is
the
Commission, the political parties and the stakeholders can be able to document and put forward those particular issues. If they warrant that, then there should be charges that are put forward to the courts. But we as the IEC have already been engaging all the political parties. As far as the whole of last week, one was on the ground throughout the province of KZN, where one met with the leaders of all the political parties, and we discussed the issues and the concerns around intimidation. We discussed the issues of the violence.
I want to stop you there. Let me stop you there, Mr. Mashanini. I'm going to stop you there and ask you this question. If you remember, Julius Malema of the EFF went to Eskaleni Shopping Center in Mpangeni. He arrives there and he's blocked from speaking. Again, Julius Malema goes to Setoka Hostel in Tembisa. Not only is he blocked, the police block him, the other party members block him, media gets beaten up, and I'm saying to you, it's all nice and well to show me a piece of paper that, oh, they're all signed and so forth. Nothing has been done about it. And therefore, the EFF in that hostel will not have a free and fair election.
Yes, that's what actually we are pointing out, Justice, to all the political parties, that what is required is that these matters then need to be documented and filed and presented both to the Commission, as well as those matters can be taken directly to the courts. We've already held the meetings with the leadership of the EFF, where we actually reach an understanding around those matters, and we've been now rolling out the issues and the concerns with all the other parties to ensure that that environment is actually eradicated throughout the country.
Do you as a commission have the power? Do you as a commission have the power to suspend a candidate or an organization in a particular area if there is this kind of violence. Isn't that what you should be doing in Tembisa, for example, or in fact in Mpangeni?
No, what we have put together is that we have put the capability now of an elections officer who will be in a position to actually firstly investigate the matters and the allegations that are presented to us. And those matters then will come through the chief electoral officer to the commission. And that's when we would make a decision whether these are offenses that either are criminal in nature or are offenses that need require to be taken to the electoral court, who then has the authority under the Electoral Act to actually impose the sanctions.
One last question on this issue. It sounds very convoluted. It looks like if I'm stopped from campaigning, like the DA was stopped from campaigning, allegedly stopped from campaigning today, that means that, oh, you know, in November they'll get a ruling that says this is it. By then the elections have come and gone. It's too late. They've been stopped from campaigning.
Yes, if we do not also put the provincial capability that is now from our provinces, we have made the facilities available now through our provincial offices, that we are in a position that we can respond immediately when incidences are reported, for us to actually go into those particular areas with the victims of any party that has been affected, so that we can address those issues immediately. But what we are pointing out is that the nature of the electoral activities is that some of those things may require a due process that is required in law, and some of it may be an immediate response, so that we can clear and create that environment that is conducive for other parties not to be intimidated, and also for other parties to campaign freely and move freely in those areas. As I've made an example, these were the issues that we were addressing, for example, last week, Thursday, with all the political parties in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, as an example.
Okay, let's talk about the Constitutional Court ruling that came out in June. Do you think that result has placed some suspicion on these elections? The fact that essentially the question mark over addresses has not really been resolved. Will that affect the freeness, the fairness, and the independence and the credibility of these elections?
Yes, as far as the judgment was concerned, we as the Electoral Commission and most of the political parties welcome the clarity that was required. And as such, the courts have actually found that the Commission required to have actually updated the addresses immediately upon the amendment was made to the Act. However, as you noted, there were three different judgments that were made by the Concord, which indicated that the matter was a lot more complicated than it was actually understood. However, we as the Commission have already undertaken all the measures that were required, in particular in Tlokwe, in making sure that we attend to the issue of the addresses. As late as this particular weekend, we had run a 3-day door-to-door campaign, radio, as well as opening up of the voting districts where people were canvassed to come along to update and provide their details. We've also sought information from various databases where we're busy at the moment uploading and matching it, and that number has reduced quite substantially, and we are quite confident that we would be able to meet the Concord decision as far as the upcoming elections are concerned in Tlokwe, as well as we know nationally.
Okay, how do you resolve this suspicion that continues to hover over the IEC? Julius Malema, at the launch of his manifesto of the EFF, said, for example, that there are two parties, the ANC, the EFF, and then there's a third party, and he said the IEC. How do you respond to that?
Well, we did engage the leadership of the EFF, and we came to an understanding about the colorful language that was utilized during that particular campaign. We are quite satisfied that between us and the EFF, the perceptions that they had, we have to the large extent addressed them. But I think in the end, Justice, I think the taste of pudding is on eating. We as the Commission, we continue to assure the nation that we're leaving no stone unturned in ensuring that come the 3rd of August, we would conduct the elections in the manner that meets the full standards that have always been adhered to by this country, which is with integrity, with impartiality, and being free and fair, so that those results are received with the integrity.
Vuma Mashanini, good luck on the 3rd and in the run-up, and thank you so much for your time. Coming up, our winner and loser of the week. Stay with us.